Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Husqvarna 460 chainsaw. The customer complaint is that it's not oiling. We're picking up this repair already in progress. I don't know what happened to the first half of my video. It just disappeared. So we've got the saw disassembled and the pump out, and now we're ready to disassemble the pump because it just turns really stiff. I mean, there was all kinds of debris jammed up around the pump. So I wanted to get it pulled apart. Now you saw there was just a little pin we had to pull out. Once you do that, you can remove the pump shaft from the pump body. Just be careful because there is a spring with a very small washer on each side of it. You don't want to lose those parts. Now, this pump shaft, it's all gunked up. I don't know what the guy was running for bar oil. I can't remember if it was environmental oil or if he had his own little concoction in there. But we need to clean this up, and I don't think there's any reason to have to replace the pump. It just needs to be cleaned. And one trick I like to do is use valve grinding compound. I mean, sandpaper is a little aggressive. Valve grinding compound, it seems to clean pretty much anything if you can work it like this, like sandpaper. It'll take all of that gunk right off of there and polish that pump shaft. And once we get it cleaned up, that we're satisfied with it, we'll have to make sure we get all that valve grinding compound off of there because it's just micro grit. Cleaning your hands is easy, just wipe them in your pants. Apparently that works. And we'll use a little bit of brake clean to clean the pump shaft. Now once we got the pump shaft where we want it, we're going to clean the pump body with brake cleaner. I could have ran the pump shaft in there with the valve grinding compound on it. I didn't want to take a chance on anything getting left in there. And as it turns out, it's turning really smooth right now anyway. So we'll put the small washer, the spring, and another small washer on the pump shaft. Lubricate it with some grease and put it into the pump body. So now the hard part is compressing that spring and getting the pin back in for the adjuster screw. It's not necessarily that hard. It's just that you needs a little bit of force to compress that spring there that's on the adjuster screw. And then we'll get the pin centered in there. And it's just a friction fit. Now that pump shaft turns really nice and smooth. And I was going to lubricate that. I picked up the wrong tube. Yeah, we don't want to be using valve grinding compound as a lubricant. There we go. Grease. People always ask me what kind of grease I use for this. These white tubes of grease you see laying around on the bench are supplied by Husqvarna. They'll come with well, they used to package a grease gun and these tubes of grease years ago with chainsaws, and I got a whole box of them left over. So until they're gone and I have to replace that grease with something else, I really can't answer the question, what kind of grease do I recommend? Because the tube's pretty vague. It just says, I don't know what it says. I think it just says grease. Let's see. Can't read it. It's grease. Put some grease on there. So we greased the worm gear, we greased the clutch drum bearing. And you can see that clutch drum had a bunch of schmutz on it as well. And the bearing that was in there was bad. And you can see the clutch that was in there, because it had a bad bearing, was running in there a little bit, wobbling back and forth. And it had some weird wear on it. So this guy didn't want to spend any money. I had a used clutch, and I just took it to a belt sander and kind of dressed it. That's why it looked kind of shiny on the edges. Just to square it up a little bit, clean it a little bit. Our bar, we want to make sure that our oil feed hole is clear. And our snaggled up chain, we want to get that sorted out. Bam, that one went easy, huh? Tension our chain, give it a couple rolls, make sure it stays tight. Then we're gonna fire this thing up and see if the oiler's working or not. So that's all I got for you on the Husqvarna 460 oil pump cleaning and installation. Thanks for watching. Later.